Hey gang, Maria here from GoalieTrainingPro.com. Welcome to part one of the new series that I'm going to do that's called Bottoms Up Conditioning. And what I'm going to do is basically start at the ankle joint today and tell you a little bit about why it's important for playing in goal, a couple little tests you can do to see how your mobility is, a few exercises you can do to improve the function of your ankle. Then we'll move our way up to the knee, the hip, the shoulder, the spine, all that good fun stuff. But today our focus is on the ankle, and the ankle gets neglected a lot. And when I worked in the sport medicine clinic, we'd see, I literally saw people who came in with shoulder pain because they had sprained their ankle 4 years ago or 8 years ago. Seen lots of hip dysfunction, hip pain, back pain, again because of ankle mobility. And we can kind of work around it, and sometimes we don't realize that there's a dysfunction there that's causing problems other places. Just the analogy I always use is if you're driving your car and one of the wheels is out of alignment, you can still keep going, but you're burning through the tire, you're burning through the bearings, you're having a long-term impact on the health of your car. So basically when we look at the ankle, it has a couple different ranges of motion. It has dorsiflexion, plantar flexion, inversion, and eversion. Let me show you what those look like. So ankle dorsiflexion is where you take your tibia or your shin bone close to the top of your foot. That's dorsiflexion. Plantar flexion would be the other way, so kind of like going up on your tiptoes. Inversion is turning your foot in this way. Eversion is turning your foot out that way, and we typically have more inversion than eversion. Inversion is the most common type of ankle sprain. I want to focus on dorsiflexion because lots of people don't have good active dorsiflexion. So if I don't have dorsiflexion, when I walk, I need dorsiflexion so that my knee can pass over my foot. If I'm lacking in that dorsiflexion, what I'll tend to do is turn my foot out, because then I don't really need that flexion in my ankle. I can just kind of roll on my foot. But if you think of how that impacts the chain all the way up, it changes how you use your knee, it changes how you use your hip. And again, any muscles that attach to the hip can also have an impact on the back. So one of the tests we do for ankle dorsiflexion is we'll have an athlete stand, keeping their heel on the floor, and stand in front of a wall. And we'll have them take their knee as far forward as they can to lightly touch their knee to the wall without lifting their heel off. So then we're getting sort of a rough measure, a relative measure of active ankle dorsiflexion. And the average is about 3 inches on that one. So measure it out, measure the distance your toe is from the wall, and if it's less than 3 inches, you might be limited a little bit in your active dorsiflexion. I'm going to show you a little way that you can mobilize your ankle yourself to improve that active dorsiflexion. I just have a cable column with it's set to the bottom, and I have an ankle cuff on there. I have the pulley set fairly heavy. So that I'm getting some good traction. I'm going to push this cuff right down so that it's kind of holding my tibia back a little bit. And then I'm just doing the exact same action that I did in the test. I'm keeping my heel on the ground. I'm flexing at my ankle. My knee is coming forward. And I would do about 20 to 30 reps. Now you can even do that without the ankle cuff. It's still a really effective way to improve ankle dorsiflexion. You'll see some pretty quick improvements if you work on that a little bit every day. So once we have that dorsiflexion mobility, we want to work on balance. And I've been amazed at how many, even very, very high level goalies and hockey players in general, can't balance on one foot. So the first thing you would do was take a slight knee bend, just balance on one foot with your arms across your chest, because I don't want you using your arms to help keep you stable. And then once you can hold that position for 30 seconds to a minute without having to pull your arms away or without kind of traveling around on the floor, then the next step is simply to close one eye. And then you would progress till you can close both eyes and balance for a minute on each foot. So make sure that you do both sides, and you'll probably find quite a dramatic difference from side to side. If you've ever sprained an ankle, you might find that even though you really feel like you've recovered from that injury, that it doesn't have the same proprioception or control. From there, go to something that's a little bit more dynamic. And I really like this one because, again, it's a dynamic balance, but it also makes me roll a little bit into inversion and eversion at my ankle joint. So not only am I dynamically stabilizing, and it really looks like a hip exercise, and I am thinking about trying to stay nice and loose at my hips, but it's taking me from inversion to eversion through the ankle. So the last exercise we're going to do for ankle movement and stability is a box hop and stick. So I've just made a little box pattern on the ground using these little rubber slats. You can use sidewalk chalk to draw one out, or just tape one out. But basically we're going to do a hop and stick. And I'm trying to get right back into the perfect middle each time. And I pause until I really establish my balance, because I want to get that acceleration and deceleration the way that you need it for your crease movements. It's not always moving. Some of it's being very quick and then being able to stop and stabilize. So that's what we're trying to go for with that box drill. So here's our bottom-up training, part 1 of the series, looking at the ankle. Again, just like a Formula 1 car, you wouldn't drive it with the wheels out of alignment. Take the time, look at some of these things that seem like small things that actually can have a huge impact on your performance. So once again, it's Maria from GoalieTrainingPro.com. Thanks a lot.